Hello, I'm Hal Ottaway with the Wichita Postcard Club, and it's time once again for a postcard of the week. This year is kind of a, or not this year, but today it's kind of a two for one in that we're getting to see two postcards. The one that I want to speak to mostly is the real photo one at the top of these two. And you'll see that it's obviously a bird's eye view and would have been taken with a probably a small personal type aircraft flying over North Wichita, and the cameraman would have been maybe sticking out the window. But anyway, he got a really sharp, good view. There's no vibrations or any wiggles to it. It's a good, nice, clear view. And it's interesting to look at things like this with a magnifying glass and to really draw it up closely. What we're talking about, we're looking north on this view, and down at the lower edge of the postcard, the real photo one, the black and white, you'll see the Livestock Exchange, and that is facing, they're on the north side, but it's facing East 21st Street in Old Wichita. The building was demolished some years ago, and I was up there the other day, and there's just nothing there that would indicate there'd once been this wonderful building. And at one time, there was even a bank inside. It wasn't a branch bank; it was kind of the home bank, and my folks had a personal checking account there. And it was always cool because each check had this steer with the big horns and everything. Just really a nice trademark for Wichita in the early days. But here, looking north of the Livestock Exchange, where there were offices from the various brokerages, the brokers who were there to buy and sell cattle and other livestock that had been brought in all night long, maybe prior to the auction that they would have had during the daytime, but to this area, and just cannot believe that there were this many pens or sectioned off. It looks like kind of a waffle garden maybe, but those are all pens for cattle and different owners, and keeping things sorted out. They weren't just all put into a corral, so to speak. They had specific places that they had to be, and so the farmer would know he was being treated fairly, and the buyer would know he was buying what was in that pen. But all of this is in the center part of the postcard, and over to the right, you'll see kind of a curve, and that's following along the railroad tracks. There's lots of railroad tracks going on in this postcard on the right and to the left, too. When you got to 21st Street and Broadway, you had to clickety clackety go over several railroad tracks to get to Broadway. Uh, a great card, and with the magnifying glass, you can really magnify and see it closely. The one building that I mentioned, the Livestock Exchange, that is on the lower edge of the real photo card, it showed up in an earlier view uh, just below this real photo that we're showing on the screen now. So it had been there a long time. There's a lot of history about the livestock exchange in this whole area. I think they had one or two fires in the early days. And back when things were going lickety split, there was a Dole packing company and also one for Cudahy. So they were even further north than what this postcard depicts. But lots of activity in that area, and it was a great part of the Wichita economy, especially in the earlier days. All of that's changed now. The big packing companies have moved out to Dodge City or Garden City, maybe other points west, and no longer are the farmers bringing their cattle here every day for sale and so forth. But it's a part of our history, and it's part of what made Wichita famous in the early days as a cattle town. And it went on to expand to become this kind of a wonderful operation. Well, that's all the cards we have for today, but thank you for being here, and we'll hope to see you next week too. Bye bye.